Good evening, everybody. I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me. It's Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and you are in the Box Den. All right, this week I have a very special guest, and her name is Alisha Das. All right, she's an angel communicator. She's a speaker and a spiritual teacher, and she is known for translating. That's right, that's the word, translating the angelic language and helping people reconnect with their divine lineage. With more than 30 years' experience, she is the author of Your Angelic Ancestry. This is offered from Hay House and is actually coming out this month. Okay. She is also the host of the popular Live Your Love podcast, and she has led 500 plus seminars worldwide. She says her book, Your Angelic Ancestry, is like Ancestry.com for the Archangelic. Drawing on her decades of experience, Alisha offers a step-by-step path to connecting with higher guidance and embodying qualities like intuition, courage, and love in everyday life. And you can find out more about her at www.alisha, and it's ALISHA das.com. And let me get her on here. She's so cute.
Aw, thank you. It is lovely to see you, Gina, and I'm so delighted to be with you all.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Now, I just have, I don't have like a book. I love to hold up the book, but it's right behind you, right there. And I had the PDF, so it was kind of a little difficult for me to read. But when you say,
well, you'll have to give me your address so I can send you a book.
I will. Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. I will. So when you say Your Angelic Ancestry is like Ancestry.com, what does that mean?
Yeah, sure. Well, you know how we are so excited to find out really what our heritage is and who our ancestors are, because of course we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. So it means that we actually have heritage with the angelic realm, with the great archangels, and we can determine which angels we have heritage with, which is not so much of a subjective DNA test. It's really so we see who we resonate with and who we can utilize and who can utilize us to really be to be instruments of God, to be conduits of spirit, to live more in our high true selves.
All right, that's another question. All right, so going back in your younger days, what was your religious affiliation before you got so in tune with the angels? And then I'm going to ask you how you did that.
Yeah, you can ask me anything, my dear. I was raised, I have a rare disease in my family, which is that everybody is an MD. So, I mean, my parents met over a cadaver. I'm sure it was very romantic. And so I was really trained to question everything. And I had a Hindu father and a Christian mother. And so I have this passion for bringing religions together. Like I don't have any, to me, all religions lead to the same place, of course, which is love, which is our higher aspect. And so but my parents were not really religious. I wasn't raised with any particular path. I started speaking to angels when I was 4 years old in their own language. And that really gave me what people get from religion or spiritual paths. I've since had, very devout spiritual paths. But there was a very traumatic experience when I was a young child, and I started speaking to these beautiful monolithic great archangelic beings. And that really kept me whole. I survived something that most children really wouldn't have survived and been okay, and they really kept me whole until much later when I could understand more of what happened and work to heal it completely. And, growing up in rural Indiana, if you walk around telling people things about themselves that you really can't know, they look at you like you're, child witch or something. And that was not really what I was going for. So I learned to really keep my mouth shut, but to open up inwardly. And so my spiritual path and my work with angels was very quiet until I left home, until I was 18. And then it really bloomed from there.
Okay. And now You say you speak to them in their language.
Yes.
What is their language? And what was that word that you used? The glossals thing?
Glossolalia.
Yes.
Yeah, read my book. Well, I can't wait to send you an actual book without the Hay House watermark on it because it hasn't been
I
released.
know.
So
I printed out certain things, and I'm going to ask if I can read a paragraph later on.
you can read whatever you like, and this is the book. It is. These are just early press copies, so I'll certainly send you one. So glossolalia is a term used by spiritual teachers and even priests and different religions, and it just means bringing through a higher language which connects us to spirit. So in my case, it was the angelic, and when I started really hearing the language in earnest when I was a young adult, I'd heard it in my childhood, but I didn't really know what it was, except I knew that it would bring me into this exquisite balance and this reassurance that everything was okay. And then once I heard my angelic name in the first and last seminar that was facilitated by someone else, I've since facilitated many, many hundreds of seminars myself. But that was the first one I did, and the last by someone else. And I heard my archangelic name, and I can tell you more in a bit what that is, what our archangelic name is. But once I heard that, it really opened me up to the language. And I had a very profound spiritual teacher. And I shared with him that I was hearing these incredible sounds, and they would bring me into bliss. And he's confirmed that it was the language of the angels and that it was glossolalia, and to be careful when I spoke it out loud because it transports people into another place. So, I wouldn't want to speak it out loud in a way where they might be walking or driving a car or something where, I've always do it in a very controlled environment where people are sitting down and can just receive it.
Well, that's very cautious of you. That's very good.
Thank you. It has been my observation is it tends to, people get kind of blissed out. They get a little ungrounded and, it'd just be like, you don't want to meditate while you're operating machinery. So it's like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely no. Now, okay. You classify, I'm going to be jumping all over the place because you classify, in your book, you classify the angels in these like different categories and stuff. Now, how did you get this information? How do you know this? Did they tell you this? Are you channeling them? I mean, what is it that's, are they just, you just having conversations?
Well, it's both and. So I would pick up these books on angels, right, with great excitement. And then I would drop them like they were burning me. They just did not want me to read books because I'm a great student. I love learning, and I love learning from other people. And I wanted to learn. And they said, no, go direct. You've got to go direct so you trust yourself. And that has been really good advice. I was finally, many, many years later, only when I was writing my own book, did they let me start cross-referencing against what spiritual masters, teachers, prophets, saints had said about angels. And I was delighted to see that, we're sharing a lot of the same thing. So that was fun. And so, and I'm sorry, what was the question you asked me? So I can actually answer the question you asked.
Jeez, that's a good question. No, it was just, are you channeling this information,
yes.
The categorization of the angels and such? And what are the categories that they're put in? Now, we know our archangels, Michael and Raphael and, all the ones that we always you hear about. But how many are there, and what are these other categories?
Yeah, so there are angels. So angels are in a collective. Angels do not have individual souls. Those are our guardian angels. Those are these beautiful, there's countless angels, zillions and trillions and trillions, because the angelic predates the human realm by many, many, many millennia. It's an ancient creation. You can kind of tell our world's a little rough around the edges, right? Yes. It's a latter-day experiment, and but the angelic realm is very ancient creation. So angels are in a collective. They don't have individual souls. They're beautiful beings, but they don't have individual souls. When they evolve to an archangel, that's where they have individual souls. And they have free will. They don't have that convenient archangel above them disseminating the will of God. They've got to go discern it, right? Now, way above archangels are the great archangels. So there are several million archangels. In my study and experience, which has been lifelong, and I've been teaching this work and working with students in classrooms for, 35 years.
That's a long time.
Clearly, since I was a toddler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've only seen in all this time 144 great archangels. These are barely individuated, very, very high beings, much higher. Some of them we know, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, much higher though than we have necessarily been aware of. And of course, above that are the unnameable ones, the silent ones, which are from the angelic, but they're so lofty. They almost don't resemble any kind of personage, angel, be it angel, human, etc. And then, of course, there's God and spirit. So then within the angels, there's lots of classifications of their own heritage: seraphim, cherubim, Elohim, etc. All of this I did receive from the angelic. And then, as I said, when I was writing my book, they finally, I have way too many degrees. I'm a consummate student. It was so frustrating that they wouldn't let me read anything about angels. So they finally let me go cross-check things. And it was just delightful to see, like, oh, I was calling the Elohim these godly beings. It's almost like God beings, almost like God and angel. And that's exactly what it says in the Kabbalah. Or like I would go, I picked up Edgar Casey's book on angels, and I just went, okay, there. And I put my finger on a place. And I had always called Uriel, the alchemist angel. And the passage I clicked on in Casey's book said, and Uriel, also known as the alchemist angel. So it was delightful to see a lot of the things that I had seen directly were being presented.
Now, when you communicate or connect, or however you do it, do you actually see them? Like, do they portray, like, are they close to the images that we know of them that have been put out for centuries?
Yes. Yes and no. In my experience with angels, and they're mostly formless for me. They are essence. They're not physical beings. They are not. Can they come into a physical body? They can, if they're going to, we all have those stories of the fireman who appeared and woke up the child. Actually, I was on Coast to Coast recently, and George Norrie has this amazing story of being woken up by a fireman when he was a tiny child, saying, the house is on fire, get up, get up, get up. And he ran to his parents and woke them up. He's like, where's the fire truck? The house is on fire. And they're like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. And so he made them go downstairs because the firemen had told him there's a fire in the kitchen. They went down to the kitchen and there was a fire in the kitchen. And it was rapidly spreading. They were able to get everybody out and save the family. And they were calling the fire department. He's like, the fireman's upstairs. Of course, there was no fireman upstairs. That was an angel.
Right.
So in interhuman form, if it's divinely ordained, they always respect, of course, God's will, because they're one with God. They're really God's eyes and ears and hands. So they respect God's will, but they are essence. So we experience them with spiritual sensing. So if I see the flip of a jewel-toned robe or a sword, I know that they're coming to me in a form that I can recognize, and they're communicating something to me symbolically. They'll often come in ways that we best perceive and receive. So I often say to people, first of all, you sense them with spiritual sensing. It's very subtle. You're not going to hear their voice like you hear my voice right now. You're not going to see their image like you see a physical image. You're going to see them in your spiritual sight. But it's very real, just like love is real. We can't taste love, but we know love, right? So it's very similar with angels. And they will take on a form that is intimate for us, that is safe for us. They're very awesome. The thing that angels say most in the Bible is fear not, to saints and prophets, because they're awe-inspiring. But they don't often present with very specific form that is the same for everybody, because they come in the way that we need in the moment.
Yeah. I want to show you something. A long time ago, I had done, if I still have it on here, I'm not sure I do. I do. Okay. A long time ago, I did this guided meditation to find my spirit guides. Okay.
Beautiful.
And you go through the path and down the hills and over the, through the babbling brook and everything and into the cave. Okay, now I'm in a cave. I'm
Right.
supposed to sit in this cave and I'm supposed to wait.
Okay.
And someone is supposed to come.
Okay.
However, I'm this consummate, just like you, want to learn, want to know what everything is. And I see this little thing of light on the bottom of the cave. So I pick at it and it crumbles. And there's this big field. There's all the foxes right there. And the fox is my spirit animal. And that is the keeper between the two realms. Now, up on the top of the hill, I see what I think is a person, long hair, robes, the whole thing, a table, a book that had like illuminating letters coming off of the book. It was crazy. Okay. But then it turned. When it turned, it looked at me and it was this. This is how I drew it. Okay. And I was like, for years and years and years, I kept asking people, what do you think that is? Well, finally. Okay. So this was depicted of Archangel Ariel. And I said, oh my goodness. But now I did not communicate. I stayed back there behind my foxes. I looked, it turned around, it looked at me. I knew I shouldn't talk to this being. Like, this was just so much more. I get chills even thinking about it now. It was so much more than me. And then I just turned around and I went back into my cave. But, I'll never, ever forget that. But now that I finally put, a name to the face, was like a little miracle in itself. And that's been years, and I mean years and years and years. And I just found that out like last year.
That is so beautiful. And I think that's such a fabulous example, because that's how Ariel appeared to you in the way that was perfect for you. Ariel to someone else might appear as a beautiful woman in robes, and to someone else as an ocean wave. And that's the great thing about angels. They are formless, but they will take on that spiritual form that we need to relate to them, because they are essence, they are spirit, they are God's breath, if you will. In the Course of Miracles, they say they are the thoughts of God. Right? So if we see them, like you saw them as this gorgeous animal, and another person, and you're equally, that's completely valid for you, and another person might see them differently, and it's the same being. But I bet if you were to compare notes on your experience of Ariel with someone else who saw her, I call Ariel a her, for you I'd probably say a him, you probably, the quality, the spiritual communication would be very similar.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it is just for us to accept, yes, like what you're saying, but oh geez, I just lost the train of thought that I wanted to say. So how I saw it, I mean, it was just like it looked like a human standing there, but just the face, so it had hands, everything. It was insane.
Yeah.
I just love that experience. But now there are people that do see angels and see like the glow. Like I went to a psychic once and he said, I have two very bright angels behind me. And he said, like, did kind of one of these when I walked into the room, and then there was my late husband and his entourage too. That sounds, but the two bright angels, but there are a lot of psychics that can see that kind of stuff.
It's clairvoyance, but they're not physically seeing them. They're seeing with
the brightness, the light.
It might be, it depends on, of course, who they are and from what level they're seeing, but it might be psychic sight or it might be spiritual sight. But everybody can receive and perceive spiritual or psychic, if they prefer, elements so much more than I think people give themselves credit for. Because again, they're expecting it to come in, with a boom, like as clearly as they hear our voices right now. And often it comes in on a whisper. And we just need to take that divine pause and trust, take that moment and really trust what we're sensing spiritually, in essence, in our inner eye, in our inner ears, in our knowing.
Yeah. Well, that is the whole basis of faith. You just trust, know and trust, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, I was raised Catholic. I don't really kind of follow all the Catholicism so much. I do agree with some of it, but I do the mixed thing. I pull what I need from all these different religions and sects and things. And I believe what I believe,
Yeah.
but I think, I mean, they're all pretty much the same anyway. It's just this one believes this except for that, and that one believes this except for this. And then this one says, well, I'm not going to take any of that, but I will take this. And we want this to add in there. You know what I mean? It's just, but it's all basically the same thing. Like it's the same baseline.
It really is. And that's the cool thing about angels is they are the one thing that all these religions that don't agree on much else, except that, yes, there is a higher power, that they all agree on, because they're obviously through Christianity, they're through the Bible 200 and almost 300 times mentioned. They're through in Judaism, they're in Islam. Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, dictated the Quran to Muhammad in a beautiful language. I think that was the angelic language, because Muhammad was illiterate. So they're even in Hinduism, they're in Buddhism, they're in Sikhism, of course, they're in New Age spirituality, and even atheists believe in angels. There was a recent study by the Associated Press and the University of Chicago. You're showing my nerd roots here. There's a recent study where that in 2023 that showed that 69% of U.S. adults believed in angels, and that actually exceeded those who believe in God, right? And that crossed gender, socioeconomic status, religion, no religion. So really, angels are, when that many religions and that many people believe in something, you go, there has to be something to this.
For centuries and centuries and centuries, and it's been written and written and yes, yeah, things may change a little, like a fishtail, you know what I mean? But basically, again, same baseline, same thing.
Yeah.
Now, why knowing our ancestry, and well, first of all, how do we get our ancestry, our angelic ancestry? But why is it so important, and what can it do for us to know this?
Yes, well, so all the beautiful qualities we associate with angels, like when you say to somebody, "Oh, you're an angel," right? It's always wonderful. It's like, oh, you did something, you went above and beyond. You were so loving, you were gracious, you were beautiful, you were grace-filled, you were creative. All the things we associate with angels. So what it is so as mentioned, the angelic predates the human by Googleplex years. Googleplex is actually the biggest number. Who knew?
Okay.
And so angels, when they evolved to archangels, as mentioned, now they have free will. Now they must discern the highest good, right? And so in a wild act of faith and bravery, archangels started incarnating into the human realm once it was created to learn more about free choice, because that's really the calling card of humans. We have free choice. I mean, don't you think God must have had a lot of faith in us to give us endow us with free choice, right? I'm not so sure we're always so trustworthy, but indeed we have free choice. And so, but when those archangels walked in here, and they have to have been an archangel, because the angels, again, don't have free will. I don't think they could have survived. We are very sovereign. We are, individuated. They are in a collective. Archangels are not. So, but when they came here, they had to forget the beautiful angelic realm from whence they came, because compared to Earth, it's heavenly. And it would make a lot of people not engage here. And some even want to take their lives to go back to that more heavenly place. So we had to draw a very thick curtain between the realms until this wondrous time where that portal is now open and we can be aware of our archangelic. It's really Archangelic Ancestry. The book was originally called Your Archangelic Ancestry, but nobody could say it. So I changed it to Your Angelic Ancestry. But now that portal is open. There's lots of, in the book, in the section called Why Now, I talk about the astrological and metaphysical and karmic reasons why that portal is now open, where we can access our archangelic heritage and bring it present and now experience the gifts of angels that we had then, but not to go back there, to bring it all present now. Things like living beyond time and space. Angels serve within time and space, but they're not subject to it. Remembering God, more and more and more. Angels remember God with every breath. They're ultimately surrendered. So these are all attributes we can bring present into this life and experience more heaven on earth.
Now, you also say that, I didn't know this, that, and archangel can actually die.
Yes, they do.
And they get reincarnated as themselves, basically. So like when we die, we reincarnate, we can be many different things. This was my show last week. The man, Steve was saying that we have like 11 lives going on at the same time. You know, when we die and we all go over, and then when we come back and we bring in this little piece of karma with us and all this stuff, and like trying to get to the mastery, right? And it's like, well, why do we have to pick up all the karma on the way back? It's like, can't we just leave that back over there? But you talk about karma in here too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
and that's one of the things that I do want to read. Is it definitely made me laugh. Can if you don't mind, I'm just going to read this one thing here. I need the cheaters because it's so tiny. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm just going to read it. All right, God organizes angels' karma. All right, and then you explain what karma is. Karma is the Sanskrit word that means action. It is also essentially the law of cause and effect. As you sow, so shall you reap. However, humans fashion their own creatively chaotic karma, which, yes, we do. Okay, think of an angel in a pastel blue satin evening gown, wings tucked just so, sitting elegantly on the banister of a polished alabaster staircase of karma. Now, our poor human, on the other hand, with wild frizzy hair, bulging eyes, is slipping down the stairs on a divinely placed banana peel, clutching for the banister with prayer beads in one hand and a fifth of vodka in the other. I almost died. I was like, it's so true.
It's so true.
God has a sense of humor.
and a lot of faith in us, I tell you. You know, sometimes I'm like, I'm not so sure you should have trusted us with free will.
Sometimes I know.
Sometimes
there's so many laws. There's so many laws to keep us. I mean, I think we're born though with instilled within us. You know, the basics of right and wrong. I mean, unless you're like a psychopath where they don't have that, they're like void of that. You know?
Right.
But basically, you know, because when someone says, "Oh, I didn't know better," it's like, yeah, you did.
Because our soul did, right? We do have souls which do live forever. And so the archangels, just to explain a little bit about, you know, when archangels die. So angels and humans evolve oppositely, right? So angels are born to where we evolve. Angels are born in collective consciousness, remembering God with every breath, and with no free will. They evolve to free will and individuation and individual souls when they become archangels. We are born with individual souls and free will, right? We evolve to God consciousness that they're born in. We evolve to knowing God in every breath and to knowing the collective. We're all one, right? That's where we evolve. So that's the advantage of it's really expedited higher consciousness when you open to your archangelic ancestry and have the best of both worlds. So when I say angels die, this is one more example where we're opposite, because humans enter the incarnation pattern. We go, okay, I'm going to do God the favor of experiencing God's creation with individuation. As an individual soul, I'm going to take form. That'll be easy. And then we get here and we're like, what the heck was I thinking? But so we enter incarnation pattern once, and then we embody over and over and over and over again, right? One lifetime, we're Juan Rodriguez in Mexico. And then, oops, we slip on a rice paddy, and then we wake up as Susie Smith, an equestrian in Des Moines, right? And then, oops, we have a tragic riding accident, and we wake up as Ming Pao Cho in Seoul, Korea. So we enter incarnation once, we embody many, many times, many different names. Angels are the opposite. They embody once. They have one body, and they incarnate over and over and over again with every single lifetime. So when I saw angelic death was actually right after my mother died. So they were taking her off in a white hearse, and I was sitting under her magnolia tree sobbing. We were very, very close. And the angel said, do you want to see what angelic death is like? And they said, as a carrot, then you can follow your mother in spirit. So of course I said, yeah. So they showed me that when an angel dies, their body scatters to the heavens in silver and white light, right? And they remain with God in these higher realms until they decide to reincarnate. And then they reconfigure their same body, say from the body blueprint, and take the same name that goes with that body. And that is your angelic name. So,
Wow.
so they die, but their souls don't die, right? Just like our souls don't die. Our bodies, these things die for sure, right? But our souls never die. Their body blueprint, the light of which they are comprised, never dies. But their incarnation pattern does. They don't enter the next life with memories of the past lives any more than we enter each life with memories of the past lives.
So what happens if, say, during the interim of this death, that we need to call upon Archangel Michael to come down and help us battle some kind of demon, but he's in this transition phase?
Well, Archangel Michael and the other 143 great archangels are exceptions. They do not die. They do not scatter their bodies to the heavens. They live on and on. They are they're way even above the level of a human soul. Or the soul really is not human or angel. It's just a soul. But these great archangels are well above that. They do not die any longer because they're one.
Okay,
good. God doesn't die.
Okay, good. Because I call on Archangel Michael a lot.
Good. Continue to.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Okay. So how do you guide people? What is your process? What do you do? How do you work with people?
Well, my work has definitely evolved over the many decades that I've been working with people. Now I work more with groups, but how I work with people, again, I did warn you that I'm a nerd. So I have several degrees in psychology and I have a doctorate in counseling because we need to address the whole being. So my heart and soul is as a mystic, right? So I read past lives, I work in their auras, I work with their chakras, I help them ground, etc. But I'll also look at, we also might do Gestalt therapy. We want to address the whole being so that we're not doing a spiritual bypass, right? So I'll work with people one-on-one, it's more intimate, and we'll look at what are your karmic patterns, what can we clear, what are the higher messages from spirit, what are your goals, hopes, and dreams, etc. And then how do we get there? So in the classes that I do, I'll present a teaching, right? We'll do a lot of experiential meditations because I'm always prioritizing. I want people to experience what I'm talking about. See, our mind thinks, I got to understand it first, and then I'll know it. And really, it's that but in matters of illumination, we need to experience the essence of it, and then we start to know it, and then we understand it. So I'll work in groups, and when I'm working with, so we'll do a teaching and then a meditation, and then when I'm working with one person, I'll make it apply to the whole group because we are all one.
Right. Now, what can we find on your website?
Well, thank you for asking. You'll find my book, of course, Launches with Your Angelic Ancestry, Launches with Hay House on the 21st, and thank you for putting it on screen. So in a few weeks, so you'll find the book, you'll find an invitation to several free events on the 18th of July. So just in a few weeks, I have 4 spiritual luminaries, Andrew Harvey, Sonia Choquette, Marie Diamond, and Robert Holden, joining me to talk about how they work with angels, how we can all work with angels and know our own angelic heritage. That's on the 18th, totally free, 10 to 1 Pacific.
That's amazing. I've been supposed to have Marie Diamond on my show like 4 different times, and things happened that she couldn't. And it's always been so disappointing.
Well, reach out again. She's a busy lady. She's actually one of my.
She really is. I know. When I saw you were doing this event with her, I was like,
yeah, she's like a sister. She's profound. But yeah, reach out again. She's very supportive. I love these spiritual teachers who are so supportive of all of us. It's really sweet.
I know it. It makes a big difference. Now here. These 2 covers, are they the same book but just different covers?
Well, I think Whispers of a Careless Mind must be another Alisha Das. It's actually in India.
Okay.
And that was an early iteration before I had the cover that Hay House designed.
Okay.
That was an earlier iteration.
I'm like, she write that. But I saw it, so I had to ask.
Well, thank you for asking. And then if you're in LA, I don't know if you are, I don't think so, but I have a launch party also free where I have Grammy listed musicians and a dinner and book reading and book signing. That's on the 21st at a Chartres inspired mansion in LA. It's an ashram. So people.
Now, well, you were in an ashram, right? Do you
Wow, good
yeah.
memory, Gina. Yeah. Yeah. I moved into an ashram when I was just turned 23.
How exciting. You know, a lot, I always envy the people that can do that. You know, I never personally had time to like, I've always been so busy. I'm like so busy constantly. And I've always been like, man, it would just be so nice to just go, you know, for a year. You know what I mean? And just.
Well, it's a little easier when you're 23, and that was before my kids and all that. But, you know, we still worked. And at the ashram, we all still had outside jobs and we still worked and all that. But it was really just a place to come to be of service. And so actually, I lived in that ashram again, believe it or not, just last year. I'm sitting in Pacific Palisades. My home did not burn. The angels saved it. That's a whole other story. Yep. But when I was displaced, surprise, surprise, I was in Airbnbs and I ended up back at the ashram where I lived for 8 months. And that's where my launch party is going to be.
That is pretty fun. See how everything just works out? I mean, it's when things are meant to be. And a lot of people always get these great epiphanies, great life changes out of like really bad tragedy. Even if you had lost your house, I mean, I'm sure, you know, you would have been absolutely taken care of just fine. Like always out of these tragedies comes great, great things.
I agree completely. And, you know, that is the advantage, I think, of having lived a bit of life, is that we know like so much is going to come at us, but we're so strong and we'll move through it and it will make us stronger. And then other people, you'll look into their eyes and they will know you've experienced it, and then they can trust you, and then you can serve them in such a greater way.
Right. I mean, that's the thing too. Like I have to experience something for me to believe it, you know, and I have experienced some profound things, so I do believe. Right. I work in the paranormal field, so so I mean, you know, I'm in metaphysics and prana healing and all kinds of stuff. So you know, we do readings and things here too. And my co-host, who can't be here, would absolutely love you. She spoke to angels too from childhood.
Oh, I would love to meet her sometime.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure she's so upset that she had to miss the show, you know, but that's the similarities are like unfounded.
I can't wait to meet her. Let's do it again so I can meet her.
Yeah, definitely. And are you going to have another book to come out though? So
yes, thank you for asking. Yes, I have a 2-book deal with Hay House. So it's kind of like, you know, when you give birth and then people are like, oh, awesome, you're going to have another? They always. You're like, isn't this one enough for this moment? I did give birth to this, but there will be definitely at least another. I think it's going to be called You Are a Messenger of God, because angel means messenger of God. And the biggest technique that I get people to connect to angels, great archangels, very consciously, is you take that divine pause, you see what you see and what you hear and what you sense, and then you ask them a question, or you might just say, what's your message for me? And then you be the mouthpiece. You speak that message out loud, and you will be amazed at what can come through. And you can tell when an angel is speaking through a person, or whether it's, you know, their own high self or whatever, you can tell. And it's really just opening up to realize, oh, I'm a messenger of God too. I'm a channel of light. I might be a mailman, or I might be, you know, sitting on a plane, and angels will give me the right words to say to somebody who's giving up hope. It doesn't have to be this big global thing. It could be like, see, there's a way that spirit moves through everyone.
You're right. I mean, the littlest thing, this like, I know a lot of psychics too. And, and even when we're doing card readings, oracle card readings or whatever, and whatever it is that we see, and like a girl was coming on and she was very new at it. She's like trying to read things out of the book. I'm like, no. Feel it, see it, what comes to you, say it, you know? And it doesn't mean anything to you, but to that person it does. And even if it doesn't at that moment, 2 weeks, a week, a month from now, it will. So it's always those messages that we always say they're divine, they're divinely sent. Either our guides, our angels, or whatever are sending these messages, and we're just delivering them, and that's it. But they're always right. It's like it blows my mind every time. Every time.
Yeah, me too. And it's like, and then when you do the work, that's how you learn also to trust yourself. Because it's like, I'll be sitting in someone in the divine unknowing and be completely blank. And this, I'll hear, and they might have just told me they have a life-threatening illness or something very intense. And I'll be sitting there and I'll go, okay, well, there's 3 things to look at. And I will have no idea what those 3 things are. None. But I have learned to trust that voice,
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, that's exactly it. And it's like, that, when they ask a question, we'll say, put a question in the chat room. They'll put a question in the chat room. And already when they physically put that question in the chat room, deep down, they already know the answer.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and it's just like they're looking for validation for the answer. However, might not be the answer that they want to get. You know what I mean? Like what they want the answer to be, but they know the real answer.
Just because
you want this to be different, but
right, just because you want it to be so doesn't make it so, but it does incline you to see it so.
Exactly. And then again, whatever does come out of it is going to be for your benefit, for your own good, and it will end up being better than what you wanted initially. Like the country song,
especially if we always keep in mind the highest. Yes, absolutely. And especially if we always keep in mind the highest good. Like, I would really like this, and always for the highest good, right? Because God, better.
Right. And it's like, we're not trying to be greedy here, but, just this little bit, no.
For the highest good.
Exactly. Okay, so this was a good thing here. For someone who's curious but skeptical, how do you explain the idea of an archangelic name in a way that feels accessible?
Yeah. Well, I say, and again, I told you I was pre-med, believe it or not. So I like to see empirical evidence. My doctorate is a doctorate of science, not philosophy. So I say your skeptical mind is not your enemy, but let it be your servant, not your master. So just be open. Again, I told you the angels go through all religions. That most people believe in them more than believe in God. So there's probably something to it, right? So if you just allow that little sliver of light, that little bit of openness, then call in the angels for the highest good. Again, so you always get angels of light, and ask them to come in a way you can perceive, in a way you can receive. See, you might feel or sense, and you might see a vision, and you might hear a beautiful language, and you might feel it in your body. So ask them to come in a way you can receive. And then you want to stay present. You want to stay present and grounded, not rooted, but grounded. So it's like held, right?
Yep.
And then allow your consciousness to go up and to experience what you experience. The angels will always come in. There's always angels with us. Of course, our guardian angels are always with us, but there's always at least one, if not several, great archangels with us. Why? Because their capacity to serve is infinite. So just be aware, what do I see? What do I sense? Oh, look, my shoulders are dropping. Oh, I hear a beautiful celestial babbling brook. What does that mean in my language, right? And so that is what it means to translate. So I do hear the language of the angels, and it does sound, quite different than English, but it does sound somewhat similar to words. And then it's just, rather than directly translate it, which I could, but it's more just allowing that to connect me to a frequency, and then I'll speak the language, the message that I hear out loud. So if one is skeptical, I would say, that's good. Keep your skeptical mind, keep your scientific, check it out, right? But then at some point, when you start to experience an angel, you don't have to go on faith. You don't have to believe me. Make it your own. Be aware of what you experience. And then keep going, because what they do is they tangibilize spirit. They help God be accessible, right? If we're not walking around in God consciousness, then why not take this shortcut, these beings that come straight from God into this realm to give us that step up into spiritual awareness?
Mm. And sometimes we get love tapped right on the head, which is
Mhm.
what happened to me. I was in a very low period in my life many, 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 many years ago.
Mhm.
Okay. And my friend was saying, you got to pray and stuff. And I said, if God existed, then he would shut my mind. I was being like a 2-year-old. Okay. And I'm stomping into my living room and I crossed my arms and I said, if he existed, then he'd shut my mind off. And I sat down on my couch and not nowhere to lie. An iron curtain came over my eyes. My eyes were wide open and I saw nothing but black. Everything was silent. And it must have been maybe a minute, maybe two, but it felt like an eternity. And I was just like, oh my God, and when it finally stopped and my friend was still on the phone, I said, what happened? And he says to me, well, there you go. God just gave you a love tap to
Yeah.
say, I am here, So I will never doubt it ever again in my lifetime. It never, So yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
And I told my dad this when he
Mhm.
was alive. I told him, and he said, and he's an atheist. And he's like, well, that must have been something else. I'm like, it's not. Like he was such a staunch atheist too that he wouldn't even go into a church at a wedding. He would sit in the parking lot. My mom was so upset all the time because she was so sweet, But I don't understand. I don't. With the miracles that have happened, with the things that happen in people's life, people see them, and again, you can tell all your stories and all the things like I just told you this.
Mhm.
Unless it happens to you again, you're not going to believe it, So just, I say the same thing to people about spirits and their loved ones that pass, and it's like, well, why aren't they talking to me? It's like, are you asking? Are you listening? Are you looking for the signs? Because they could be very subtle,
Right.
so you need to ask and you need to really be vigilant and really be mindful. If you ask for something, you will get it. You will receive a message. You will see a sign somewhere. It just could be
Absolutely.
something just a little out of place, but
Right.
it's going to be there.
It really is. And I think a lot of times it's just we need to take that divine pause and be open. And then again, just really trust our spiritual senses. And, I'm sorry that you had that experience with your dad and yet, but that's the beauty of reincarnation. He'll come back and something will open his eyes. And he probably had something that frightened him or that was painful.
Yeah. Yeah. And he never would talk about it. However, after he passed, he did leave me a big blue feather. As I was asking for a sign from him, and I came up and this is a very, very old house, and I have lots of stuff. Yes, I do. Okay. I have nothing, zero with blue feathers, let alone one. Okay. And it was right in the middle of you couldn't miss it, and I was really begging for him to give me a sign, So I was like, thank you, Dad. So I think he found out.
Absolutely. Once my dad wasn't an atheist, but he was, he was Hindu. My dad's Indian, so hence my name, right? So, but he wasn't all that practicing for either, because then he became a Christian when he moved here, but when he was dying, he started calling on his Indian gods, and and which he had been kind of forbidden to do by my stepmother. And I said to my stepbrother, please take her to lunch or something, and
Yeah, right. Yeah.
then I started like helping Dad open up that channel again. And he started calling upon the mantras that he had as a child and really talking about God. And after he passed, that and I followed him in spirit, and he said, oh my God, all that crazy stuff you were talking about, it's true.
Right.
Yeah, he's in, sometimes. But here's the great thing, Gina, is, because I had several people die, both my parents and my step parents die in a very short span of time. And just really had that experience that death is just half a breath. It's just half a breath. It's just right beyond the illusory veil. But the thing is, we don't have to die to experience the beauty of life that is life after life. My best friend died recently, and I officiated his ceremony. It was just a week ago.
Oh, I'm
And
so sorry.
thank you, my dear. And I was walking, and I did what I rarely do, being such a type A personality. And I went, I need a break. And I went in the middle of the day to the ocean. I said, I just need to walk. Ted was his name. I just need to take a walk with Ted. And Ted came through me and started looking at life, physical life, because Ted was now in life beyond life. And I fell to my knees in wonder and worship at the beauty of the gray seagull in front of me and the sand under my knees and the exquisite beauty of life, this life, and I was connecting to life beyond life. But we don't have to drop our bodies to experience the ecstasy of existence. And that's the beauty of working with a metaphysical.
Yep, you're right. You're right. And then people, we always say, like, where do you start? Where do you start? It's like, I always say, you got to start by meditating. You just have to get into your own space and just release everything, your day-to-day, your all that kind of stuff that is just wearing at you, this one barking at you, that one, and I can't pay this, and I can't get that, and I want this, and I can't have that, and all that kind of stupid stuff. And it's like, what do you have that you can be grateful for? All right, let's think of that and just be okay. Start there. So.
And that's about breath. We happen to carry our best meditation device with us everywhere. It's just like, take a deep breath, breathe in love, all the love of the universe, and exhale and let go of anything less than love. See, because when we connect to breath, it brings us right to this moment.
Right. Now you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
It's Alisha Das, right? It's people can find it very, very easily. And
Yes.
And on there, do you have guided meditations, and you have
I have like 30 guided meditations.
Yeah, and you have messages from angels, and you have lots of things that.
Lots of free content, and I love for people to go on the YouTube channel. I also have my podcast there, Live Your Love, and my last guests were Marianne Williamson, Jack Canfield, John Gray, and Queen Diambi of the Congo. Quite a beautiful spiritual being.
Wow.
And so that's on the YouTube channel. And sometimes it's easier for people to meditate with a guided meditation.
Definitely, because they can't shut their mind up.
Right. So if somebody is saying, go down the river and open do that, like, it satisfies our mind.
Yep.
And so that's the value of that. Yes, I have tons of meditations on the YouTube channel.
So now that I always say too, go find something that's good, something that works for you. If one doesn't work, try another one. Don't quit. Exactly. It's all a practice thing. Practice makes perfect. But just to get into that state, and then you begin to grow.
You do. You really do. And that's a beautiful thing about shows like yours, where you're really bringing people into that state through conversation. So their mind is satisfied. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I never thought of that. But then there's that pause between the words where they can connect into, oh, there's more than this. And in fact, I might be more than this.
That's my job. It's to bring as much diversity and as much information and many modalities that I can help people with. And this is a huge, and I praise people that can do the work that you do, and especially for so many years too. So you can hear it in your voice, you can see it in your confidence, you can see it in all the things that you do and the shows, and you've been on television, and so many things, and like you were just saying earlier about being on Coast to Coast with Nori, those are all amazing things, great platforms to get your word out and your book and your message out, and to open the people's minds. And now today it is so imperative.
Yes.
Connect, because the world is just crazy, you
I was
know.
going to say it's a little crazy, and but you know what's great? You know what's so that's I actually for my event on the 18th, I already talked to Sonia about what she's going to talk about, and Sonia's been a teacher of intuition for 50 years, considered the world's top teacher of intuition, and she says, you know, and for me, it's, I'm kind of on her heels with 35. But for somebody 50 years, she says the world is so much more open. Like there is so much to be hopeful about. Yeah, I understand that's gone a little nuts, and fair enough. There's a lot of darkness, but there's more light, and people are so open. Like I thought, like I said, I've been teaching this for 30 years and plus, and I thought when I put out this book. By the way, I did not write the book that I wanted to write. I wrote the book I was born to write. I wanted to write a safer, more accessible book. But they were not having it. Not having it. And
I like the book.
Thank you.
I don't like reading it on a computer though. I really don't. I like to have the connection. Like,
yes,
look,
it's nice
I need to have the book in hand.
Exactly. Plus the Audible book is it's myself and actors, professional actors, like
very cool.
And reading the story, so it makes them alive. Plus the meditations, I'm guiding you through the meditations. You're not just reading them, so that's also fun is in the book. But my point being, like, when I say to people, you know, you're an archangel in the flesh, and I also give them a little preamble to why that is. But it's amazing, even on TV. Like I was just on, George Norrie has a new TV show, and he had me on a week ago. And I was sharing this, and he's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's been the response. People are like, yeah, it's weird, but it kind of really resonates. And so my point being, the world is so much more open now than they used to be. Like, you can go to a country club or to a bar or to a restaurant and start talking about chakras and auras and talking to your dead mother or whatever, and people are
depending on what town you're in, there's a metaphysical shop around almost every corner, where before it was one in the state maybe, and you'd have to go searching for things, or just to get medallions. It was like hunting for, I don't know, a needle in a haystack. It's like, come
now
on.
It's ubiquitous. The world is really opening up. It's awakening.
During COVID, it was really awakening, and then it got destroyed because of some of the powers that be at the moment. So, it just came kind of crumbling down. But there's so much resistance, pushing back on the metaphysical side. Not the loud bully, I'm going to combat you in the fields and then, on the streets side. It's coming back in this wave of energy, and I believe that it will prevail. I believe that it will.
The light will prevail. But yes, sometimes the tests are so much harder. One, when they're close in, like someone close to you, and two, when they're very subtle. So you miss it. You go, oof, that was a test. I missed that. But yes, the light will prevail. But that's why we need light workers. That is why I wrote this book. I started writing it 20 plus years ago. But now was the time, because now people are open to it. And the thing is without awareness, when people are not really aware of much, they can still be utilized by the light if they have a pure consciousness or good and well-intended, right? But with awareness, with that connection, that attunement, now they become light workers, not just a battery of light, but light workers. Right. And that's what we need now at this pivotal time.
You're not kidding. And then you also mentioned that we are in the age of Aquarian.
Yes.
Aquarius. And what does that mean?
Oh, I love
tell people.
So it's the golden age, the new age. So we were in the Piscean age, and age is about 2,000 years. We were in the Piscean age, which is the age of me. It's all about me and individual gain. The Aquarian age, which we're just now, depending on which astrological imperative you follow, we're either in it or we're coming into it.
Right.
And it's the age of we. It's the collective. It's the golden age. It's we're all one. It's stop arguing about God. We're all God. So the sign of Aquarius is angels. And that is another reason for this book and this time, where the portal is open, and the angelic and the human realms are not only accessible, but they're merging. Now, that merging could take hundreds of thousands of years, but it started with this age of Aquarius, because angels, remember, are in a collective. We're all one. And that's what the age of Aquarius is about. We're all one. We're in harmony. We're together. We're moving as a collective field. A dear friend of mine, Dr. Urban Laszlo, you've probably heard of him, just recently died a few days ago. And I was privileged to be on his show before he died. And he talks about the coherent field of love. Like he brought quantum physics into the mainstream. He wrote over 100 books. And, he talks about this ultimate field where they actually can measure the field of love. The most coherent field is the field of love. And that really is the age of Aquarius.
I'm being brought back to the movie.
Oh, which movie? I was brought back to the song.
Yeah, the song and the movie, but the song, definitely the song. So yeah, that's just showing our age just a little bit.
Oh yeah. What's the movie we're talking about?
The Age of Aquarius.
I did not see that movie. I'll have to.
Oh my God, you have to.
I have
oh my God, that's where the song is from.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, and it's our age group.
It is.
It was. Just look it up. All right, now we let's see. When you say, all right, we're talking about like guardian angels, and you had mentioned the intuition, right? And I always say, when you get those intuitive thoughts, they're direct communication lines from your guardian angels or spirit guides or whatever. But trust those, because they're not going to lie to you. So trust it.
Right.
Do you think that intuition is that as well?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I do think we need to practice opening to our intuition and learn to discern the highest voice. But absolutely, I think our intuition, which is really that sixth sense, that knowing that comes through, right? So we can ask our guardian angel to help open our intuition, but I would also ask the great archangels to help open our intuition. And then, other spiritual presences can come through us and inform us. And here's the cool thing. They all play for the same team, right? So we don't have to go, do I have to choose between angels? Now it's Jesus. Now it's Buddha. Now it's Rumi. Now it's the Divine Mother. It's all aspects and facets of God. We don't have to choose any more than we have to choose like which religion is the best, right?
Yeah, it's not a competition.
It is not a competition.
so it's like, everything here is a competition. That's that human element, it's like,
yeah,
it's just not, or the selfish or the me, or the whatever's, Yeah. It's like, sometimes you just like, you mention just a statement, and whoever you're speaking it to is like, well, I don't do that. I do, like you're speaking directly to them. No, it's like, no. It's a collective thought. It's a collective thing. It's not personalized. It's not a jab. It's not a this. It's not a that. It's like, or there is, again, no competition. Hi, Mike. And it's just the human element baffles me sometimes. Like, we could be so much more. Everybody could be so much more. And like you said, if you just open up, just sit back and listen, instead of barking, listen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is I think that people, beautiful cat. I think that people think, is that yours?
No. That's my friend Sharon. That's Milky.
Milky, it's gorgeous. Love that. So really, I think people think, intuition or clairvoyance or clairaudience, that's for the teachers, the mystics, the saints, the prophets. And that's the thing. That is not the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. The Aquarian age is all about, no, go direct, beloved. Like, I always, it's probably a terrible business model, but I'm always trying to make myself obsolete and go. I'm always telling people so I'll bring forward messages from the highest angels, that every day, actually. The book came from the angelic language and the higher messages. But at some point I go, no, you bring the message through. And it's always before they think they can. Right. But the thing is, so people just take that pause and not go, I need to go ask my priest, minister, guru, but go, wait, I can go direct, and the angels can help with that. And just trust. And that's where the speaking out loud that we talked about, where it's like, what message do you have for me? And then you just speak out loud, one word at a time. And those will be words of love and of counsel and of God.
Now, can you do this at any time? Like if you wanted to do this right now, would you be able to bring a message, like maybe for the global humanity, like to give them faith and
sure
guidance?
Yeah,
I would love that.
It'd be my pleasure. So let's see who's present. So this is an archangel probably, which is the Archangel Gabriel. And then there's also an angel which you probably haven't heard of. And this is the only angel where I've never, so there are angels that have been serving in relative anonymity until now, where I've received their names from the angelic, like Mirael, the angel of light, Archangel of light. And there's many others. This is the only angel that I've never been allowed to, I've only shared their name out loud once. That was to my spiritual teacher when I was just starting to really hear the angelic language in earnest. And I thought it was, how we discover things. Like we might have known something decades ago, and then we discover something about it. For all these decades, I thought that was an angelic mantra. And then I just found out about a year ago that it's actually the name of a being that I have heritage with.
Wow.
So we keep discovering these things. So let's see. So I just call it O, because I'm not allowed to say the name out loud. And so it's O and Gabriel. Intertwined like a helix is the beginning of the human and the angelic merging. Be of great cheer and even courage, knowing, beloved humans, that all truly is well. The pot of humanity has been stirred, and that which is in the way of the pure depths is rising, and this is the disturbance that you see. But know that we are always with you, closer than your next breath. Call upon us. We were born of God's intention to serve God's creation. So call upon us, because we also learn through your choices, and our capacity to serve is infinite, like the infinite ocean of love. And as it's been said, we helped bring you into form through the unnameable ones. And so we are the perfect ones to help return you to the pure ocean of essence, to the undifferentiated consciousness. Don't cling so tightly to your narrative, to your story of you, that you miss the greater truth of you, which is that you are God's beloved. You are one with Source. You are the infinite ocean itself. As it's been said, you're not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. But you can experience that now so much more quickly and immediately and imminently than you think. Take this next moment. Breathe in light all through your beingness into a place that needs healing. Whether that's something in your thoughts, a concern, a worry, a pain in the body. Breathe brilliant light into that place, and watch as that light starts to transmute that aberration, that part that thinks it's separate from God. That light starts to get softer, gentler, more diffuse, like a fog through the mist, until it transforms into the light of the Holy Spirit. Thus, all your experiences are taken back to spirit, transmuted from density, from matter, from chaos, into the coherent field of love from whence you were born. Come quickly, come now. beloveds. We will help carry you into the consciousness of the Holy of Holies. Amen.
That's beautiful. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. And Loki has a little thing she says, I agree that you do not have to have someone intermediate between you and your higher power.
Mm-hmm. You really don't. I mean, we all help each other. As Ram Dass said, we're all walking each other home. And I have teachers, and as said, I'm a consummate student. But the reality is, God is with you. That wisdom is within you. And it's really just taking that time to trust it and open to it every day. If you can, even for a minute a day, to just take that time to really practice and go direct. You're so much more connected than you might give yourself credit for. Not you, you know that, but for the in general, we are all more connected than we give ourselves credit for.
Absolutely. No, it's no doubt in my mind. Let's see. Well, that I was going to ask this question, but you just answered that. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I can do this one. Your work blends spirituality with grounded practical tools. And how do you help people move from insight into real, tangible change? Because that's the thing that people want.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So for me, let's say I'm doing a class, I might work in someone's aura, might read a past life. What I'm doing is I'm looking for what is that block that it could be from a past life. It could be from your genetics. It might be conditioning. That's why I like having the different tools. What is that within you that thinks that it cannot, as we're just talking about, go direct, cannot know God with every breath? And we'll look to clear that from that person and then bring them into an experience of God, into an experience of spirit. It might be that an angel will lift you up until you just keep going, right? It might be through the Christ. It might be through Mother Mary. We don't know. It might be through, the wind through the trees. But as quickly as I can, once someone's ready, to facilitate them into an experience of spirit or whatever that is beyond the limitation. So they go, oh, I've got this. And then almost invariably, I'll have them bring forward a message. And it's actually helpful if there's other people present, because then they can reflect back like, oh yeah, I really experienced spirit moving through you. So then they have a reference point. And then we always talk about, okay, what's a microscopic change that you're going to do now every day? Could be 1 minute of meditation, or I'm going to have this conversation with my child, every day until I experience that we're really connected again. Whatever it is, what's the microscopic action that you're going to commit to? And then if I have a group, I'll have people have accountability buddies, right? And they will need to tell the accountability buddy how that practice is going. Or if it's an individual client, I'll say, okay, I want you to text me when you've done X. And then if they don't, I'll be like, hey, what about X? Because we need to put roots under our wings. Sometimes we transform from the inside out, and sometimes it's the outside in. It's change of behavior.
That accountability partner is everything.
Gold.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I can do it without you. It's like, no. Now, the dog.
I have noisy ones, obviously. I have 2 rescued dogs. I have Halo, and that's the one who's being noisy. And then I have Champ, is the dog that I inherited from my son.
Oh, I think you might have hit your microphone because you got like a little bit lower or something there. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Is that better? Is that better?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, because your voice just went really low. And now when you were just saying at the beginning there, when you said the people that have these blocks and stuff, and maybe it could be from past lives. Now, I always have noticed that those things like show like fears and phobias and things like that, and I've had on the show past life regression, people that just get rid of the fears and phobias of past lives, and then it corrects this life here. So is that the type of blocks that you're getting rid of, or is it something else?
Well, it depends on what the person comes to me for.
Present.
I want to write a book. I have this awful relationship with my spouse. I want to see the face of God. It depends on what they're coming for. And then we'll look at, what is the story you're telling yourself about that? And yes, I definitely clear past lives. I don't regress them because I don't want them to go back there. I want to go back there and see what's unresolved. And then we'll cut the cord. We'll see what's unresolved and what needs to be
cutting. Yeah.
And then what needs to be forgiven. And then we will cut the cords. So now, because we don't realize it, but we're dragging, it's called karma, stuff from past lives. And so we go, okay, I'm just going to let that drop now. I'm going to let that go. And so, and I've read, I don't know, thousands of past lives by now, and I'm still amazed. And I'll start reading a past life with someone. Let's say it's with Susie, their daughter. And it's always amazing how it's like, I'll describe a dynamic in that life where Susie wasn't their daughter, they were their spouse or whatever. And it's like, it's the same dynamic in this life.
Yeah.
It's the same dynamic. So we go, okay, this is what happened. Here's what you need to forgive. Now, release that past life so you can see Susie present and innocent in this life.
Yeah, we always say like to bring them to the soul family, and you have your soul family, so that all these souls from all these different lives just be all together, and then you'll join them someday,
Mm-hmm.
But geez, I was just I gotta apologize. My brain is not functioning tonight. I don't know what it is.
It's time. You might be in a higher realm doing work, and
I did it. I wanted to bring up something else, and it's like it's totally gone, like completely and totally gone. I don't know. I apologize.
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, we're when we're doing this work, like our brain can get hijacked, so that
I have my ears are ringing really highly. Like when a spirit's in my room or close to me, I have 3 distinct tones, like really high, medium, and low. Low is not so good, but like the really high would be more angelic, and the medium would be more like a good spirit guide, or like a loved one or a good spirit. The low one's a little more nasty, but they are just ringing so loud. It's just distracting at times. It's like,
that's so beautiful though, because to me that's what we're all here for. That's that's the truth of who we are.
Yeah, but I need to speak.
It can make it a little more challenging on this level.
Definitely. I really wish I always kind of jot down these little notes so I won't forget. Yeah. Gosh. Well, hopefully it will come back to me.
Yeah.
Now, when you say our angelic guidance can support healing, clarity, and all that stuff on everyday life. Now, what type of healing? And tell me about your own cancer story on this healing level, because that's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. It's crazy, and it's beautiful, and it's part of those miraculous stories that we always love to hear, because we need to be reminded that spirit is present in this life. So I had been doing this work for many decades already, but there was another level that I needed to go to with the angelic work. I had been, I'd facilitated, I don't know, a couple hundred, probably 250 classes by that point, seminars and workshops. But I was married to a kind of a spiritual celeb, if you will, a practitioner to gurus and thought leaders. And there was another level of my work. I was connecting people to angels. I was talking a bit about angelic ancestry, but I wasn't fully stepping into the fullness. I was more used to supporting my partner at the time. I was more used to supporting others, being of service, etc. And then they made me an offer I couldn't refuse, which was that I was diagnosed with very aggressive cancer, told to get my affairs in order. And when I was told, actually my doctor called me at dawn and told me this, my first thought was, of course, oh no. My second thought was, I know why I've created this. And then, so I said to him, I just need a little time to heal this. And he said, you just need a little time to schedule the surgery. And all these miracles occurred. And I got that time, you know. And so I went to the practitioner, the doctor of the Dalai Lama, who had been my client for 5 years. So he very much knew my work. And so he laid me down on a bamboo mat. It was the first time I had gone to him as a doctor. And he said, what would it take for you to fully fulfill your spiritual calling of bridging the human and the angelic worlds? And I said, I would need to fully step in and share the truth that we all have an archangelic heritage, that we can experience it now, that the realms are merging and that we are living bridges at the dawn of dual creations, merging as one to expedite higher consciousness. And he said, and I said, I would have to write books about this and teach. And he said, and will you? And I knew this was a very important moment. So I hesitated just for a moment, knowing that there was no turning back from this. And when I said yes, seemed like a million angels joined us in his room. And my body literally rose and fell off the bamboo mat. And I had this whole awakening and more willingness to absolutely write this book, the one that I didn't want to write, but the one I was born to write, and to teach and to share and to really do my part to bridge the realms. And that became, you know, I started doing workshops and I had all kinds of healing experiences. And the cancer, in the end, the cancer had gone, right? And the thing that I really needed was to believe that that was possible. Once I did, that's what occurred. The cancer was gone, and they had the, you know, they had the final biopsy. There was no cancer, and I knew this was to show the healing power of the great archangels and this work, but even more of saying yes to fully fulfill our calling. No holds barred, no excuses, no like, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? Am I going to be burned at the stake?
You said it, you've got to do it.
Exactly. And you know, it's not because I'm special, because sometimes I can't even heal a head cold. True story. Right? This healing was to show me the power of the angels and the truth of what my saying yes meant, which is that miracles could be wrought in my presence. Certainly not from me, from spirit, from God. And it's really the greatest miracle is saying yes. Yes, Lord, what would you have me do? Yes, how can I be of service, right? Because there's a way that spirit moves through you. I mean, you know this, but anybody listening, there's a way that spirit moves through you that it does not through anybody else. And we really need you to come forward, be all of who you are.
That story was absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's just so powerful. Again, like I was gonna say you're a chosen being, but you're really not. You chose. You know what I mean? You chose, and you gave it over. So, and you're sharing, and you're doing all the things, and it's, I mean, God bless you. You know, I mean, it's wonderful. It's spectacular, and that's why that other book has to come out.
Yes. 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 Well, that other book is about, and that's what my big passion is. It's really about all of us doing our things, you know, whether some people will be teaching and on stages, and some people will be in their own garden singing the flowers taller as one with the nature kingdom. Do you know? And it's like, I don't know who died and made me everybody's cheerleader, but that's really my passion.
Hey, if the shoe fits. As long as you can do the tumbling, you're good.
I can get a little bossy. Come on, we know you're magnificent. Let us see it.
Cool. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Let's see, what time have we got? Oh, geez. Do you realize we've been yapping for an hour and a half already?
No, I haven't looked at the clock once. That's amazing.
I know. I had no clue. I was just like, is that right? Oh my gosh. So again, okay, so for the newer people that are watching, you have some really cool events coming up. And please, I'm going to put your website back up here.
Thank you.
And please tell them about your events coming up on the 17th and who you're going to be speaking with and what that's all about.
Well, thank you for asking. Well, so if you're anywhere near Summerland, Santa Barbara, California, I'm doing a book signing at Godmother's Books, which is a gorgeous bookstore. And then on the 18th, and that is my Facebook, and the 18th, July 18th, is my online launch with Andrew Harvey, Sonia Choquette, Marie Diamond, and Robert Holden. We're going to be talking about, they're going to be talking about their experiences with angels and how they utilize angels, and more importantly, how you can utilize angels. And we're going to be doing meditations. And as much as I can guarantee anything, I guarantee that you're going to experience angels on that event. You're really going to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, experience the great archangels. And so someone knows Godmothers. Yeah, it's a beautiful store. And then on July 21st, I am going to have a party. Come join me. It's free. It's in LA at a gorgeous ashram, the one I lived in. And that is the 21st. And I have Jamie King, who's a very big actress, and Craig Sheffer, some other actors who are going to read the book with me, and then some Grammy-listed musicians doing live music. And then, of course, book signing. And then I'm actually going to spin. I was a DJ back in the day. So I'm going to spin.
Oh, no way.
I'm going to dance. And then the 22nd, I'm going to be on Coast to Coast again. So all that is on my website. It's all free. So please do join me.
Congratulations on all of it. Now you got to do a TED Talk too on top of everything.
I do. That is in the works as well.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's see. Okay, I think I've covered everything on this. Oh no, I didn't. Were you visited by aliens, or do you believe in aliens? Did you see a ship? I
don't think that we can take a look at the night sky and think that we are the only planet with sentient beings. But yes, I was when I still never forget it. I was 9 or 10. And as mentioned, I'd had these experiences with angels, but I kind of shut it off because I was scaring everybody around me when I kept telling them things about, things I couldn't know anything about. And so I'd shut down my site. And we had this fallow field beside my house in Indiana. And I woke up in the night and I went to the window and I saw the most beautiful ship, huge and circumnavigated by beautiful lights, flashing lights, and blue, green, and white flashing lights. And it was just extraordinary. And these beings spoke to me telepathically. And they said, open up your sight again, but don't tell anyone. And then one appeared at my window, these gorgeous golden eyes, and looked at me with such love. And I'd had a pretty traumatic childhood. And he looked at me with such love that I knew everything was going to be okay. And that I could communicate with my angels, but just not tell anybody until I left the house. And there was the most incredible humming coming from this ship. And it just sent me into ecstasy. And I never heard that humming again. And then they left. They lifted up again. They didn't take me or anything. They just lifted up again and disappeared. And then, just like you see in movies, like went off the speed of light. And I didn't hear that humming again until decades later, when I was leading folks to this meditation to something called the Tuan, which is a golden Christed orb at the center of our earth. Nothing to do with religion. It's really like working out our karma under grace. And this Christed orb is in the middle of our planet. And by the way, the middle of our planet, the core of our planet, is the planet's crown chakra. It's opposite to us. So there at the crown chakra, this golden orb, and there was this incredible humming coming from that golden orb. And I did not realize until I wrote this book when I was writing the book, all of a sudden I started just sobbing when I know, oh my God, it's the same humming that was coming from the ship that really saved my attunement. I'm going to say saved my soul. It really did save my soul when I was a child. It was the same humming. That humming is there for all of us. And I think it is that mantra of spirit, always, always, always bringing us into that higher frequency. The one you talked about.
So when you think of the angelic realm and everything, it's not like hovering over the earth. It is out there, you know? So it's like, yes, this is available for all these different planets, species, quantum, time, you know, because there's multi-dimensional things that you can talk about here too. So that in all these realms, all these different time frames, it is just, again, mind-blowing. And how these messages get to us and how these people and aliens and beings get to us, again, all for a reason. You know, not everybody sees them, not everybody encounters them, you know, and it's not just luck or in the area. It's, I really believe that you are pointed out for a reason. Like they wanted to communicate with you. Why? You're open. You're open. You're already talking to angels. Your third eye is wide open. And it's like, oh, hey, here we go. This is this beam of light. You know, they zoom right into you. You know, and that's how I kind of see it. You know, like when you go into a dark room, you're bright. So everyone will come, you know, like a magnet right to you. You know, and there's a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people that aren't. You know, but the thing is, they could work towards that. They could be that.
Always, always. It really is like, and you really said the key, Gina, which is it's to be open, you know, and to trust you're protected. Sometimes people go, I don't want to be open. What if something dark comes in? But it's like, you can sense that. You can trust your discernment of that and the light. So then you just ask for the light to fill and protect and surround you. Ask for the light to protect you. Ask for your guides and your beings to protect you. And they always will.
Right. Like when I take people on a ghost hunt or something, you know, in a place and I'm leading a crowd and I have those tones that I told you about. If I hear a low tone coming from this way, I'll be like, let's go that way.
That way, yeah.
You know, so we to keep people safe.
Exactly.
You know?
And everybody has their own way of discerning, like, oh, this is not for me. Let me go over here. We all have that sixth sense. We all have it. To you, it comes as tones. For me, it's a knowing or the angelic language. For another person, it will be when my right arm, you know, gets goosebumps, then I know that I'm being directed over it. So we all have our tells.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how the world goes around. All our different talents mean everything. Let's see, does Dr. Alisha believe in interdimensional beings?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we are multidimensional beings. And so absolutely there's interdimensional beings and intra-dimensional beings. So absolutely angels are interdimensional beings. You know, there are beings, there's realms, you know, beyond realms of light that we can experience. And there's beings that can come from those realms. The funny thing is they're not really coming into our realm because we are very physical. So they don't come into the physical. It's that we are actually penetrating another realm to be aware of them. So if you're aware of them, realize you're actually opening your awareness to another realm. And if you can do that, you can also be aware of the higher realms and the highest realms of light.
True. And, you know, people get afraid. I mean, that's the thing. That's the biggest debilitating thing, I think, with man is fear. And it keeps us from doing, expanding, living, even, you know, earthly things, just doing a business. You know, it's like this overcoming fear of, oh no, what about this? What about that? What about it? Right? What about it? What's the worst that can happen? You know, you're going to fail. But taking that leap of faith into this other realm, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get enlightened? Oh my God, no.
Right. You're going to get enlightened, and now you have to surrender your will to God, who is then going to pour through you and bring you into bliss. Oh, well.
Right? I know. God, jeez, that's just too much. I swear, it's like that simple. I mean, if people could just really think about it, it's that simple.
It
And we
really
always
is.
say, ask and you shall receive, you will.
You absolutely will. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, gosh. God, time was taken away. Time was taken away. Is there something like that you wanna make like really stand out in the book? Like I printed out these different things like who's present, a word of encouragement, like just some of the things I printed out. Like if I had the book, I'd have 9 million dog tags and
I love that.
signs and things and everything. And one of the things I was like, I wrote what, because when the angels die, I was just like, what? But when you talk about who's present, it's just like if we want to know who's present, we just ask who's present, or are they always present? I mean, it's like
Yes, and
yes,
yes, they are always present. Our guardian angel is an easy way to start. So if people want to connect to angels, I would say, your guardian angel. And to start with your guardian angel, and on my website, I have a free toolkit where there's a PDF on how to connect to your guardian angel. My YouTube channel, I have lots of meditations to your guardian angel. So that can be an easy way to start. And then you'll want to keep going to the great archangels. And yes, there's always a great archangel, if not several, present. Why? Because they are infinite in their ability to serve. So you can ask Michael for this or Gabriel for that. And, so can 5 billion other people. So yes, it does help us to know who's present, only because awareness is a key, right? So, but I don't always know who's present. Most of the time I do, but there's times where I'm like, I don't know who's present, right? And then often I'll start talking, and then I'll realize who it is. So we don't even always have to know, is it an angel? Is it a great archangel? Is it an archangel? Is it a seraphim, a cherubim? Like, we don't always have to know that. But I would say, trust yourself. Go, okay, I know there's an angel present. Like right now, Raphael just stepped in. How do I know that? I just heard it. Did I hear it, him speaking in the way I'm speaking to you? No, I heard it inside, right? So Raphael is present, and you can kind of feel there's a bit of a sacredness in the air. It's gotten a little bit slower, more peaceful, a little deeper, right?
Can I tell you that it's gotten right here with this? I was just like, wow, I can actually hear right now.
Oh,
And then you said that. It's just
amazing.
again,
We're
just mind blowing. This is mind blowing. And I was just like so thankful. I'm like, stop, because this high ringing has been driving me crazy. But it's true. That is true. And this goes from, through these waves. I mean, we're on the same planet, same plane.
Same wavelength. Yeah.
The energy is the energy. What I printed out here too was your heavenly highlights things here for your keys, like the invocation and releasing blocks and receptivity and the royal road. And angel moments. You want to talk about the royal road?
Sure. So the royal road is, so yes, we want to clear blocks and we want to let go of limiting beliefs, etc. But then there's also the royal road. So we humans, especially us type A personalities, will keep trying to fix and fix and fix and perfect and clear and clear and clear, right? But what about grace? Because also grace, so we can like stair step up and fix and fix and fix. Cool. I'm trust me, that's important, right? But there's also the royal road is called like, okay, at some point, enough fixing. Let me be an open conduit of God to come from the top down. That's the royal road, right? And open me to transcendence, not because I earned it or I deserved it or I efforted my way to it, but because that is who I am. And so that royal road is going, yeah, beautiful. You've cleared blocks and you've let go of unworthiness. And now allow a great archangel. It's really always God, God through the great archangels, right? God through the Christ or the divine or the Buddha or whatever, right? Now allow the angels to now carry you on that royal road. And from that higher perspective, now you can see from that altitude the answers to your problems. You can see more of who you really are. So another word for the royal road is grace.
That's beautiful. And now we have hard to Mancy. Okay. Is there an angelic language? Yes, there is. And she knows it. And
well, I can hear it. And
she hears it. And she translates it. And that's what her book is all about.
Mm-hmm. Well, the book
kind of. No, the book.
Yeah, no, it came from the angelic language. So when I was writing the book, I got down on my knees in my balcony. I wrote most of it outside. And I would hear the angelic language. And then from that language, then messages would come. And some of those are direct in the book. Those are the parts that are in italics but then the rest of it, I made much more accessible stories and made it fun to read because the angels speak with, as you heard a little bit earlier when we received a message, they speak somewhat formally and it's very profound. And it would kind of exhaust people if the whole book was that. So they're interspersed through it so people can receive the energy. And then the rest is very accessible teaching. All of it came from the language of the angels. Why? Because who knows more about angels than angels? And so that created a pure frequency through the book. And I went through the book again and again and again. It was like, okay, something in chapter 8. There's one word, and then I would like flip through every page and go, there. Okay, change acumen to ability. But so that every word was true, because most of it is going to be information people have never heard before.
And you have this in Audible too, and you said that you have actors and everything else in this book, and you do the meditations and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I never get Audible books, but you made me want to listen to an Audible book. I'm like, when I'm gonna be like, when I go on a nice road trip, I'm gonna download it so I can listen to it while I'm driving. It's for the meditations.
You could listen to the meditations while you're driving. I wouldn't. I
won't do that while I'm driving. Just to be clear, people, you don't do meditations while you're driving.
No, you don't. Please do not do meditations while you're driving.
No, would not be good.
No. The Audible was really fun. Believe it or not, a long time ago, I was an actress, and so, I have actor friends, and again, they. Not all of it, but in some of the stories we're acting the story out. So it brings it to life a little more. And then it was crazy when I was doing the audio book, the angels would just come through me and read different parts of it. So my voice kind of changes a bit through the book. It was a fun experience.
You know what I hear in your voice every once in a while? Dolly Parton. I'm not kidding. It's like some of the words that you said, it was just like, wow. It's like exactly Dolly Parton. I don't know why I have to say it.
I love Dolly Parton.
I do too. I do very much, but I hear her voice in you, not all the time, just the way you say certain things. And it was just like, oh my God. I wonder if you have to have a message for her.
Maybe. I would love to meet her one day. I think she's a beautiful soul.
I would love to meet her too. Yeah. Dolly World. I want to go there.
Yes.
So let's see. Okay, I think that I have pretty much covered everything that I had written down. Well, again, it's like many people are looking for clarity or direction right now. What's one simple way that we can begin assessing higher guidance in their own life? And something quick. It's just like a basic thing for people.
Well, really, a really effective technique, and very quickly is I would get a journal, pen and paper. I know we all like to do our phones, and you could cheat and record it, I guess. But I like pen and paper, and again, ask. So you want some kind of very quick attunement. Father, Mother, God, or angels, or light, or deep breath, and let it all go. Some kind of invocation. Call in the angels in a way you can receive, and then ask something about what do I want higher guidance on, whatever that is, and then write out the answer and trust your attunement, and you will be amazed at what will come out.
I love journaling. I have a journal that's next to my bed. I have a journal that's in here. It's right here.
Perfect.
Right. And it's like, because I'll jot down things all the time. And like when I always tell people too, when you want a message from your angel, you want a message from your loved one, and you can't get it during the day because your mind is just too busy, right? When you go to bed at night, say, please give me my message tonight. And then when you're sleeping at that REM sleep, everything's shut off and you can get your messages. When you wake up, the things that you remember are actually messages. Dreams you won't remember.
Right.
If you remember it, it's a message.
Absolutely.
And write it down. So Carmen, hi, Mama. Coming from Columbia, PA, your haunted manor. Oh, right, the Samuel Miller Mansion. That looks cool. That's a very cool place. I hope you had a good time there.
Yeah.
And I'll see you in a few weeks at the Bash. We got Gettysburg Battlefield Bash coming up in 3 weeks. So we do these big events, and we run Penhurst Paracon, which is like the biggest on the East Coast now. And,
wow.
Yeah, we had it in May. We had over 10,000 people come, and we're going to the Bash in July, the end of July, and then we get married.
You're getting married?
Yeah.
Congratulations! That's so exciting.
Yeah, so in September we're getting married, and this will be my third marriage and his second marriage, and at this age,
you got it right this time.
Yeah, third time's a charm, right? But at this age, we're like crazy, right? We're getting married in an asylum.
I love it.
We really are. But where we have our events. So it's like, it's paranormal. It's, it's us. This is where we have the event. And that's why we've always had this event to preserve that property.
Beautiful.
So whether that all pans out or not, but, it's preserving the property part.
Yeah.
It's, I know. And it's going to be fun. And but this year has just been so busy, with the big event that we run, and then the other events that we go to. And then right after we get married, we're going away for 2 weeks, and then we come back, and it's like, it's Halloween time, and I set up this huge display thing, like huge, like the news came last year.
What state?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, beautiful.
Then I got to go from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts for another wedding that I have to attend in the middle of October, and come back, another event at the beginning of November. And it's just like, if I survive this year,
you will.
Yay. I know this girl too. She's all over the place. She's traveling you never know where Carmen is going to be next.
That's exciting.
Just look at her. But okay, so we only have 10 minutes left. Okay, so what is like the main thing that you want people to take away from your new book that is just coming out this month? I mean, this
is coming out in 2 weeks.
Timing for this.
Yes, 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. The main thing that I want people to take away, that they are an angel in the flesh, that they are in fact an archangel in the flesh, that they are so loved by God, that joy is just a breath away, and that they truly can know heaven while on earth. They have an archangelic name which they can remember, which is in the book. So that's about midway through the book. And that I would recommend they listen to the meditation. So I have a QR code in the book for the meditation, so they can listen to the meditations, and they can remember their name, their archangelic name, of which they have one through all of their angelic lifetimes, bringing present all of their archangelic acumen into this moment. And most of all, I want them to know that they are divine, that they are beloved of God, of spirit, of the universe, that we are all one, and they can trust themselves. They can trust their attunement. They can trust their wisdom. They can trust their connection. And we can trust each other to rise into the golden age together as one. And the angels will help us.
There it is. And again, this is her website. So AlishaDas.com. And that's a SHA, not a C. Okay. And Facebook, Alisha
K. Das.
K. Das. Yeah. And Alisha K. Das is on Instagram also. And please check out the YouTube channel, because there's so much content on that YouTube channel. And you can see a lot of the meditations, a lot of the messages. All her interviews are amazing. She's got some wonderful people on her show. Wonderful, wonderful. I did watch a couple.
And, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you're doing some amazing work, and please keep it up. I would love to have you back on when the next book comes out.
I would love to, and you'll have to send me your address so I can send you a book.
Oh, yes, I will. I'll put it in our email. But and that I would appreciate, because I'd love to have a book in hand. It's how I connect.
Yeah.
And it's like sitting here reading on a computer, and I can't do it on my tablet or my phone. It's just too small. I'm too old. I can't see.
I get it. I get
it. But it's like I did read it. But
you did a lot of homework. I appreciate that.
Well, I try every week. I read a new book every week, and then I have an extensive library. So sometimes I have to read two. And depending on if they're this big or if they're this big.
Right.
So when do I get started?
Yeah.
But that's my every week. And it's to bring listeners, people, all the people that I bring on here. I think they're all doing fascinating, wonderful work. And I just want to spread that message as best I can. And I always say, if I only help one person, my job's done. But I'd love to help a lot more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the work you're doing. It's very important, and it's bringing more light onto our planet at this very pivotal time. So I know it's not always easy, and I know we can get tested, but please keep going. Please keep going, because we need you, Gina V. We need you.
We need you. I apologize for me tonight, because it's like this ring is so distracting tonight, like really badly,
Well, it sounds
it's like all the spirits are, coming in for you. And man, I feel like, duh.
Well, that's, when we go into that higher state, and the mind just has to let go and go, okay, well, I'll just have to let the spirit come through, because that's really what the communication is the spirit. It's the frequency. It's the energy.
And I have something else up here too, because I heard it's your birthday this weekend.
It is. It is my birthday on Sunday. Oh, you're so sweet. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Yes.
So happy birthday on the 5th. So yes, you came in.
Yeah, that's when I'm doing the reading at Godmothers. So if anybody is around Godmothers on the 5th at 6 p.m., please come. And everybody, actually, I'm giving a second book there. So they'll be able to buy the books at Godmothers. They got early books, and I am bringing my own stash, and I'm going to give everybody who comes a second book for free to give away.
Wow. Oh, see that? And this is what happens. It's that word of mouth thing. The handing over, like I donate a lot of my books after the fact, especially like I have a neighbor across the street who absolutely adores angels, and I always give her my angel books, except for the ones I have to hold on to because they're too special, or I need them, or I'm going to refer back to them, or I want the meditations in that, whatever it is, But A lot of them go to her. She gets, but that's the thing, it's like you read it and you pass it on, or you pass on the knowledge, or you pass on whatever, or you give out the name, and and that's how it all works.
Exactly.
I do appreciate you very much. I thank you for being here, and I do want you back again. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to play my exit video, and can you hang for a minute with me until after this? All right. So I'm going to say ciao for now, and I'll see y'all next week. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Please share her information. Please share her stuff, and please, please, please go to that YouTube channel and watch her. She's pretty captivating. So, worth it. All right. So ciao for now, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.